What if you could read everyone's thoughts? Hold on. Let that sink in. Not just faint impressions or vague emotions, but straight-up verbatim thoughts running through someone's mind. Would this superpower revolutionize humanity? Or would it destroy us completely? In this episode of What If Facts, we're diving into the sensational, terrifying, and incredible possibilities of mind reading. So make sure you stick around until the end, because everything you thought you knew about communication might change forever. Now let's get right to it. Imagine waking up one day and suddenly this ability is unlocked in every single human being on the planet. How would society react? Well, first things first. Absolute chaos. Privacy would become an obsolete concept overnight. Secret crushes would no longer be secret. Lies? Forget about it. From small fibs about liking someone's outfit to major corporate cover-ups, honesty would be the name of the game, whether we liked it or not. But let's break it down further. How would relationships work? For starters, trust, a cornerstone of human connection, would undergo a tectonic shift. On the one hand, couples might find it refreshing to know exactly what the other person is feeling. On the other, do you really want to know every little thing your partner is thinking? Why didn't they put the cap on the toothpaste? Or, man, they're chewing so loudly. These fleeting thoughts could lead to arguments that might not have existed before. At the workplace, the implications of mind reading would be revolutionary, and maybe a little horrifying. Meetings, brainstorming sessions, and decision-making would change forever. Superficial politeness and office politics would vanish, because when you know what everyone around you is really thinking, there's no room for facades. But at the same time, people might be scared to even think creatively, for fear their innovative ideas might get stolen just because someone else overheard their thoughts. And what about global politics? Diplomatic relationships would unravel at an unprecedented pace. World leaders couldn't hide ulterior motives, long-term strategies, or any manipulative tactics. Ironically, this could lead to a more transparent and cooperative world, or spark constant conflict as soon as opposing nations catch on to each other's real intentions. Can you imagine a world where every tweet by a politician is immediately cross-checked with their private thoughts? The phrase, political double-speak, would vanish overnight, but so might civil peace. But here's one for the philosophers. Would mind reading strip away individuality? Our unspoken thoughts are a cornerstone of what makes us unique. If everyone could read your deepest fears, dreams, and internal debates, would we become carbon copies of one another, constantly editing our own minds to fit societal norms? Or could it bring about unparalleled empathy, because for the first time in human history, we'd really understand what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes? Imagine being able to feel the pain of someone struggling with depression, or the joy of someone achieving their lifelong dream. Would this fusion of minds bring humanity together, or fragment us even further? Now let's take this hypothetical a step further. What about crime? Could mind reading eliminate criminal activities entirely? Imagine a detective not just interrogating a suspect, but directly peering into their thoughts. Cold cases might vanish as quickly as they appeared, but then again, the potential for abuse of such a power is monumental. What if governments exploited mind reading to enforce totalitarian regimes? The thought police wouldn't just be a dystopian fantasy, it would become our grim reality. And speaking of exploitation, imagine the corporate landscape. Companies would battle for access to your thoughts, monetizing your inner monologue the way they currently monetize your online data. As if targeted ads weren't intrusive enough, think about an ad popping into your head just as you're wondering what to have for dinner. Fish tacos? Well, here's an unskippable mental commercial for a taco truck. Privacy advocates would have a field day, arguing not just for control over our digital footprint, but our cognitive freedoms. Now, for the techno enthusiasts watching, let's talk innovation. Mind-reading tech could open up new frontiers for science, especially neuroscience. We could cure brain disorders like Alzheimer's or aphasia, conditions where communication between the mind and body are disrupted. Imagine someone in a coma finally being able to tell their loved ones how they feel, or discovering groundbreaking scientific concepts through collaboration without ever speaking a single word. But, on the flip side of this shiny coin, what happens when mind reading becomes a privilege rather than a universal trait? Imagine a world divided into mind readers and non-mind readers. Could this lead to a new class system where those with access to others' thoughts dominate society? It's a daunting scenario to consider, one that could even lead to large-scale conflicts between the thought elite and the cognitively private. And let's not forget the psychological toll. We're not meant to handle that kind of raw, unfiltered access to thoughts. Can you imagine the level of information overload? You'd hear every fleeting judgment, every passing annoyance, every irrational fear. Social anxiety would skyrocket or possibly even evolve into something entirely new. How would humans adapt to such a drastic shift in cognitive and emotional processing? And here's the million-dollar question. Would you even want to read minds? Sure, it sounds cool at first, but when you think about it, pun intended, do you really want to know what others truly think about you, all the time? Imagine sitting across from your best friend and hearing, "Oh wow, their new haircut looks awful," or worse, catching unsolicited thoughts from strangers that can't be unheard. Let's also talk about creativity and self-expression. Would art, music, and literature lose their magic if you could instantly grasp the creator's intent without interpretation? The beauty of abstract art, metaphor, poetry, it all lies in the guessing game. Mind reading might give us answers, but it could also take away the beauty of questions. So, where do we land? Is this hypothetical mind-reading world a utopia or a dystopia? Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. It could solve some of the world's biggest issues: miscommunication, lack of empathy, and even crime. But it would also come with massive costs, emotionally, socially, and ethically. Ultimately, humanity thrives on a delicate balance of what's spoken and unsaid. Paradoxically, it's in that mystery, that inaccessibility of thought, that we find connection and creativity. Maybe we're not ready to read minds just yet, though who knows what the future holds. Until we figure it out, maybe it's best to cherish the privacy of our thoughts, at least for now. And there you have it. This has been one wild ride, imagining the possibilities of a mind-reading world. If this thought experiment gave your brain a workout, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more what-if facts, and drop a comment below, assuming, of course, you'd still prefer typing it to me reading your mind. Until next time, keep those thoughts private, or try to anyway. What if indeed?